could we have any more of a perfect day on our hands? Methinks not. We're in a very hot locale. We happen to be house sitting for a very snazzy place that looks out over our beauteous Horsetooth Reservoir. That's very French, you know, the Horsetooth Reservoir. And we have a giant rock here that looks like a massive prehistoric, like dinosaur-sized horse's tooth. So there you go. Who names these things? I don't know. Dudes with furry hats from long ago who came and covered wagons and went, whoa, that's a pretty thing. Whatever shall we call it? So yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel real relaxed when I get to be in pretty places. So I'm in a very pretty place, and today I am doing a poem I have wanted to write, I guess since it happened a bazillion years ago when I was 14 years old. Let's not even do the math on that. Let's not. But this is one of the most profound, I'm trying to learn a Hungarian accent, so I'm adding sounds into the way I actually talk that don't even make sense. It's fine. No one who watches this expects me to always make sense. But yeah, we're in a primo locale. I have been needing a very specific prop slash see, I can't, sounds are not happening. Interactive set piece, if you will. And I haven't been able to find it. And today, in this beauteous way, we have exactly what we need to tell this story. So, follow me. We got lucky, and we have the desired backdrop to tell this amazing part of her story. We've been having baby deer just out here all day, just playing, having fun. So, want you to know this is one of those categories we're elevating this to a very high octane, whoa, insane in the membrane type video status because I'm afraid of trampolines. Your girl's a scaredy pie. If a pie can be scared, that's me. And this one's pretty industrious too. Like, here we go. So, it's a trampoline. Oh, but it's fun. It's as fun as I remember it when I was a kid. So, my best friend for life grew up down the road from here, and the woman who lives here was the only person we knew who had a computer. So we would come up here and play like really old school computer games, including but not limited to Oregon Trail, and just have a whale of a time. Oh, there's little acorns. It's even more dangerous, guys. There's acorns everywhere. There's acorns. Kind of inhibiting to the fun, though. Oh, that makes a cool music. The acorn spring music. We just discovered a thing. Bing. Sounds like alien side effects, if you will. Or, I mean, sound effects. Alien side effects. Nobody wants those. Alien sound effects. But yeah, when I was a wee child, just a little younger than when I was in this story, how I was in this memory, we used to come up here and jump on this for hours, very dangerously, catapulting each other as high as we could go. And, you know, I sort of miss it. It's a pretty good time. But I'm always like scared to do things that have any potential risk whatsoever. And that's like most things. So you just got to endeavor to take the risks. It's worth it. Yeah, this is really fun. I feel like a cheerleader. So we'll get it a little more intimate here. Now that I'm out of breath, I'll wind it down for story time. This is a poem. It's been in my mind for several decades. How do I face that truth? I don't know. But it's a real great thing to have stories so big and bold that people think I'm doing it with all of my vowels. I'm doing it with all my vowels. It's great to have stories that are so gasp worthy that people don't believe them. I like that. I've learned to love that about my life, that people are like, I don't know, Teal. I'm like, that's fine. It's the real deal. So you take it or you don't take it. But this happened to me, and I'm happy. I get to finally tell it on the location it should be told from. So here we go. Let's run it. Today's poem. Let me catch my breath. Let me center my Zen portals. Slow the heart rate. That was the most vivacious I've been in a while. The most blood I've gotten to my cheeks in a minute. One should always try to get as much blood to their cheeks as they can in a week. So here we go. Today's poem is called Unidentified Flying Objects of Affection. I reflect on this memory repetitiously. I remember when we arrived at the big houses of the upper-class burbs. I looked to the skies suspiciously, a twinge of premonition in me, as though the stars passed the whisper of a secret surreptitiously. The wind swished the leaves, orchestrating a perfect summer breeze on a night we were too young to recognize the rarity of. The kind of night there would, a few quickly approaching decades later, be a scarcity of. Young love like the most intoxicating drug. I was there with the first person I came to understand that word through. Though we only hugged and touched souls, we had a hold on one another. I stuttered around him and felt so cool when he picked me up in his car on a whim. I was 14, and my understanding of what love can do to you was still slim. I couldn't pin what it was about that night that felt so different and right and electric. But I felt so giddy and giggly, the energy was almost hectic. Perhaps I was affected by the cosmic alignment selecting wavelengths between we humans and a force on an alien course and trying to connect it. I inspected the latest gossip magazines as I inspected the latest gossip magazines at the impressive marble kitchen counter, while my first love that never truly was because we got trapped in obstacles and tapped off at friends, and his best dude pal, both fellow actors in the local youth theater, battled a video game dragon, flailing their elbows, trying to defeat her. I thought I had so many problems then, but really, life couldn't have been sweeter. The object of my massive crush was a bodybuilder and therefore a constant eater. He made a huge plate of snacks stacked tall for the serious craving feeder. He breezed past me back and forth to the fridge, and every time he got close to me, it felt that we teetered between fumbling all over ourselves and almost kissing. I didn't know it yet, but many terrible forces would influence us missing that boat. I borrowed his coat as the night got chilly, and the scent of him made my hormones go all willy-nilly, just bouncing around silly like the schoolgirl I actually was. We snuck a sip or two of his mom's alcohol, and of course, at 14, I felt so buzzed. The hours went on and the youthful buzz faded. We concentrated on our lines for the latest play, Robin Hood, until our restlessness got us good and distracted. Somehow we went from line memorization to me teaching them about a bra and how to unclasp it. It sounds more scandalous than it was, because, see, we all respected one another equally, and were free to be goofy and flirty without any of the friendship water getting muddied. We were nuts, we were young, we were buddies in a sweet trifecta, so I helped them perfect the oh-so-smooth brassiere unhooking, while we were looking at Britney Spears tabloid gossip. We bounced topics, laughing like hyenas about playing the penis game at Perkins. You know, the one where everyone has a bit of naughty fun, whispering penis, and then going around saying it louder and louder until there's one brave penis shouter. How does adulthood suddenly tower over us, scowling until we lose our ability to push the envelope like that? We sat discussing all the big drama amongst our theater cohorts and the many sorts of harmless trouble we like to stir. I'm not sure whose idea it was, but the next move of the evening was to fling me up in the air on the trampoline. I screamed with fear and delight as the gorgeous moon shone into the warm night. We sure wore ourselves out all right and had to lay down, breathless, on the stretched tarp of the tramp. Our vibrations were all amped, and I held both their hands as we laughed and made big plans about a future we could only make wishes and guesses about. The next part of the story is one that many people respond to with doubt. But I can tell you without hesitation, it's absolutely true. Very, very suddenly, a giant spacecraft came into view. Everyone always wants to be a detective or a sleuth and say there's no way it could have been real. But I'm telling you, I will never feel differently about it. It happened, and I can still feel that pit in my stomach that rumbled as it appeared. I squeezed the guy's hand so hard, I'm surprised they didn't get tears in their eyes. Our mouths and pupils all went wide, and we screamed, unable to hide from the undeniable majesty and mystery of this hovering ship. It stayed there above us for much longer than a blip. I am still unequipped with the proper words to describe it. It was lit from within with a continuously morphing, opalescent, holographic surface. It seemed to have a purpose, a reason for being there, floating in the suburban air. We were scared, but couldn't move our bodies at all. We all described it later, feeling like we were in free fall, like gravity disappeared. It sort of rotated as though it was being steered by someone who wasn't sure where they were going. It's too bad we have no way of knowing where it was headed. It's embedded so clearly like a movie in my mind. It's impossible to define what we were witness to. It glowed and was see-through, but also shiny. There were tiny circular windows on the bottom like octopus suction cups, but filled with a light that could only be from the cosmos. The exact source of what we saw, we can never really know. The wind ceased to blow, and it was strangely still. It held us there while our eyes took their fill of the wonder of it. I couldn't even sit up if I had wanted to. A sort of blue light emanated from larger oval windows in the middle of the thing. Its wings, if you can call them that, were like a fat boomerang with an extra sort of protruding third thing. I don't know what to call them. Sort of phallic? Very galactic. 3 prongs that belonged in a sci-fi movie. The colors of the craft undulated, groovy like a lava lamp. Obviously, I was already in the camp of thought that believed in UFOs and such, but I can tell you the fellas clutched tight to their Catholic upbringings with all their might. They would fight the truth of what they saw for years. But their gaping jaws and eyes, close to tears, told me that they were experiencing the exact same phenomena as me. The temperature seemed to drop many degrees and we were cold, our fingers all folded together, being energetically tethered to this inexplicable force. Of course, as with all moments, this one had to end. I laid on that trampoline frozen with my friends, and the light began to bend around the giant sky entity. It gently pulsed and then vanished in a beam, sucked into itself until it was a dot, like a strange dream. We all screamed again as the forces of our former reality returned, and we burned rubber on our feet, retreating inside. My crush's parents were gone, so we didn't have to hide the insanity of what we just went through. That thing blew all our minds. Our concept of time was screwy. It had felt like only a few minutes we were out there, but we were a bit scared when we saw that it had been over an hour. Should we lock the doors? Cower in a corner? The reporter in me kicked in, and suddenly I had a plan. Talking about an occurrence with a group can change how you remember it. So I said, okay, nobody say shit. Let's all split up with pen and paper and go on into different rooms with the door shut. That way we can compare notes and figure out what's what, okay? They nodded, still shaking. Okay, I said, taking note of the fact that I'd never seen anything impact these two sporty dudes like this. So we whisked off into our private room, into our private thinking spots, spread out over this huge house to document our thoughts. The results we got were astounding. It was a resounding group yes. We all separately confessed in writing that there was no denying in any of our minds that we had a combined UFO sighting. My big, strong bodybuilder crush was biting his nails. My brain was going off the rails. Thinking of it still never fails to amaze me. It was downright crazy, and so lucky, too. We all drew the same unbelievable image. I couldn't even finish mine because I didn't have the artistic skill. But it fills me with wonder endlessly that my very skeptical friends could see it also. That outer space glow, whoever was at the helm, gave us quite a show. We had to go and grow up, and there's a lot to be desired about that inevitable shift that transpired. But I've seen them both since then, and none of us ever gets tired of recalling that astonishing night. We all felt like we were falling as the most enthralling sight we've ever seen beamed and levitated above our fascinated human awe. It doesn't matter if you buy it, because we know what we saw. Yeah, we saw the aliens, and they were our friends. So it was really cool. I don't know how to describe it. That was it. It was a boomerang, and then it had like a thing, like a third thing.
Like an N64 controller.
Like an N64 controller. Thanks, Boo. That's exactly what it was. If you want proof, just look at the N64 controller, and it was like that. But hovering, and it appeared out of nowhere, and it disappeared into nowhere, into the beams of your dreams. But your dreams may not just be dreams after all. So, yeah, we felt like we were falling. That was scary for me. I'm going to do it again. Woo! Okay, so it's been a while since I felt like a kid. But what's that?
Storage.
Oh, storage. Stupid storage. Dang aliens, give us more storage. Okay, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Stick around for more poetry.